Is it time? Is it time to search for that beautiful home? I want this beautiful white kitchen. I want the white countertops nice and smooth, granite or quartz. Where those two little stools are underneath the island, I'm going to make that a fish tank. I'm going to personalize this and make it awesome. Yes, it is time to search. However, have you gotten pre-approved? Remember, getting pre-approved is one of the most important aspects before even searching for a home. Once you have the mental things down and you know you're ready to buy, you've compared buy versus rent, and you're ready to buy, make sure and get pre-approved before you even search for a house. Because an odd thing is that if you start looking, you're going to want to buy. You're going to find that perfect house, and it just really slows down the process. And remember, there's a lot of people out there trying to buy a short inventory of houses right now. There's not enough inventory for the amount of buyers. So make sure you have your ducks in a row so that when your offer is presented, you have the confidence that it will be accepted. Okay, so yes, getting your ducks in a row, getting everything situated makes the process easier and more assured. Okay, so in searching for a home, you definitely want to make sure that you're using a buyer's agent. I don't want to pay the commission. You don't pay the commission. The seller pays the commission for your agent. And remember, your agent knows the area. They're a professional. They have a fiduciary responsibility to take care of you. They have negotiating skills. They know the local environment. They know the laws. They know what they can and can't do. And they're able to get professionals that are local to do the work for you. Remember, and we'll refer back to it later, but from the home inspection, which is an opportunity to renegotiate, to the title and escrow company that, if they are working together, can reduce your fees, as well as the homeowner's insurance company. The brokerage that we use, that we refer out from our company, is generally the lowest price, but the best coverage. And it's hard to say, that you could match that anywhere, but certainly you want to get competitive bids. But having a buyer's agent working for you is a must. So also, let's note that that buyer's agent is able to get into the multi-listing service. Multi-listing service is the place. A buyer's agent is able to provide you with access to the multi-listing service in doing a search. So they can set up an auto search that has the criteria, the number of bedrooms you want, bathrooms, lot size, all these things. And as soon as that new property comes available, you are emailed that property and or that list of properties that fit that criteria. So as well, of course, they can set up the showings, which otherwise you would have to try and set those showings yourself. And then the listing agent obviously would want to try and represent you, which dual agency, probably not best for you. Just going to say it. So now when developing that search, I always like to refer back to my days of economics. You wouldn't buy a car if you really needed a truck. You wouldn't extra study, although this was not on the test. You wouldn't study extra if you had limited time, and that wasn't really a basket weaving class that you're going to need knowledge for in the future. Just as much is Ramit Sethi, which is a fantastic financial advisor. He says on the bottom left there, cutting out the little stuff in life doesn't amount to anything but the feeling of limits and less. So make sure those little things are in the criteria of what you want. You might be able to adjust and for some things, but not for others. But make sure the little things are there, because saving $5, $10, $20 on your loan amount probably isn't going to really take up for the pain of feeling limits and loss. So just I always like to make sure and point that out. So Home Spotter is an app that we provide. The data that you're able to look up, and you see on the far right hand side, you can set filters in this search for not just the area, but for bedroom count, bathroom count, lot size, whether it's in a homeowner association or not, whether it's what type of house, a single family residence, a condominium, a townhouse. Maybe you're really going for the country and you want low price, but country. Maybe a manufactured home is something you want to look for. So you can narrow everything down, not leaving out the little stuff, making sure that the big stuff is in there, and remembering that top three things in real estate are location, location, location. Now, pick the location and then work around that. But this HomeSpotter app is available to you. It's on our website, aboutredlandsrealty.com. And of course, if you just email or text me, I can send it to you as well. But this is a very handy app that allows you to look things up. Now, all of the information that goes into HomeSpotter comes directly from the multi-listing service, MLS. The only people that facilitate information for MLS are professional realtor agents and brokers. That's how the data goes in, gets edited, and comes out. Drastically different than information that you're going to search for and receive on, the iBuying platforms like Zillow or Redfin or Trulia. There's a whole list of them, honestly, a ton. And although their information often is auto-populated from MLS, it's often done, well, it's always done with a computer, but it's often done in batches or blobs, and it doesn't often get in there correctly. I'm sure you homeowners have looked up your own home on Zillow and said, oh, my Zestimate is this, and know for a fact that is not the right value of your property. Well, that's true. It's not. But they do the best they can, and obviously HomeSpotter is a much better platform to try and get that information from. So, okay, we've gone through a lot of different things in reference to searching. I want to remind you that, when you're looking for that house that you fall in love with, when you find it, you want to make sure and have all the aspects ready to go. Okay, I love this house, Mr. and Mrs. Agent that you're working with. Hey, I want to make an offer. It's listed for this. I want to make a responsible, reasonable offer. Here's what I want to offer. And then your agent knows to include, not just the offer letter, but the residence purchase agreement, of course, the earnest money deposit check, which is generally 1%. A nice intro letter is always helpful. Why you love the property, why you want to be in the area, who you are to the area. My family has lived in Redlands forever and a day. My dad graduated from Redlands High. Um, I did, my wife did, our kids have, all these kinds of things. That's important, that the area. If that's a benefit, if that's something you want to illustrate, make that part of your short intro letter to personalize it. And of course, you always want your agent to include your pre-approval letter that you've already gotten from your lender and proof of automated underwriting if it hasn't actually gone to and been in front of a warm body, an underwriter. You want to make sure it's gone through the automated process because that's an approval as well. And often, even in listings, they will be asking for those aspects. Of course, once your offer is accepted, stop looking. There's no need to look any further. You're accepted, you're in escrow. Now let's work diligently to make sure you get closed, because getting accepted is a triumph in and of itself. You found the house, you love it, you want it, you offer, boom, you're in escrow. It's going to be yours. You already know the money is taken care of, and the appreciation is yours for the future. Whether you're going to live in this house for 3+ years or forever, because remember, back in one of our webinars, we said you really shouldn't consider buying a house unless you're going to stay in it for 3 or more years, because that's kind of what it takes to recoup the expenses of buying the house and selling the house in reference to appreciation. But, a friend of ours, Monica, is still living in the exact same house that she was born in here in Redlands. She's never lived in any other home. She's a little over 60. She's a beautiful, awesome lady. Her husband's awesome. She's never lived anywhere. Isn't that something? So you may, in fact, buy a house that your kids are born in that they just never leave. And I have certainly known a couple of friends that their kids just won't get out. But that's I digress. Yes, I know. So in any case, once you get an escrow, keep all the information rolling. You got to make sure and keep the stuff up in front of your loan originator so that he can keep on time with the file and get it closed on time. Of course, during the process, and we spoke a little bit about this, and you can always refer back to our webinar on Paint It, which is in reference to home inspections. So a home inspection is an opportunity to renegotiate. This particular property that we illustrated in that specific webinar had $11,685 worth of repairs, which did not include several other things, which were the leaky water main that was under the slab that they had to tear the concrete out, and half of a wall and a few other things. And this was an $800,000+ house. So these are opportunities to renegotiate. And also an opportunity to find out what else you need to know, because you're buying a real asset, something that it needs up maintenance, it needs repairs. So what am I getting involved in? So you do want to know those things. And so the Paint It webinar would probably be of good use to you. Also, during the transaction, just at the very beginning, after the purchase agreement is accepted and signed by the sellers, your loan officer and real estate agent are going to need to open escrow, order title, and these are aspects that we went over in our agency, title, and homeowners insurance webinar just last week. And these are a couple of professionals that were on our webinar that we interviewed and got some fantastic information from. But you're going to want those people on your side, obviously. Now, generally, your loan originator and your real estate professional have their team in place. And generally, you want to just let them use them because they work well together, they know each other, and they wouldn't be working together if they weren't good at what they do. But if you know of somebody as well, then it's okay to recommend them or get competitive bids from them. So know that your title insurance, escrow, and homeowners insurance is equally as important. And so these are important aspects that you want to focus on during the process of buying the property, which hopefully keeps you from searching other properties because you're already in love with this one. Let's just move forward with it for sure. So, yeah. So that's really, this is kind of a wrap up of our web series, the home buying series, and I am ecstatic that we took the time together. I'm really happy that we record each and every one of these in order to keep them on our website at aboutredlandsrealty.com. You can review, you can fast forward, you can send it a link to friends. And I hope you found these interesting and informative. I'm always welcoming questions and maybe suggestions for additional webinars or just a whole series, perhaps. But you can find us, and fortunately, we have the same name everywhere, whether it's YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. It's always the same name, About Redlands Realty. And feel free to like, share, follow, subscribe, all those things in reference to those social media places. And I'm going to start, because I think it'd be wildly accepted and really beneficial for the recipients and for myself. I'm going to start a weekly market update, which is going to focus on the real estate industry, which is not just the homes and their values, whether it's increasing, decreasing, but the interest rates, which are the lowest since 1971. Can you believe a 30-year fixed mortgage is at 2.88% right now? Oy, unbelievable. So feel free to email me or contact me from the website, and I'll put you on that list, and you'll receive that email, which is a video and text, so that you can read it or watch it, whichever you choose, if that would be of interest to you. All right. So that closes out our webinar for today. I appreciate you all attending, and yeah, I'll see you down the road. Dave O'Hara, About Redlands Realty and Loan. Thank you for attending.